keep it real. Ladies and ladies, I imagine, all working at home. Hello, hello, hello. We are on an inside job. I've done about 10 of these inside job, loose women style interviews with some fantastic ladies that I absolutely respect from all different walks of life, careers and countries. And today I'm talking to Claire Butler, the style expert. She is an online personal shopper. She's just an absolute guru about what suits you and what doesn't. She actually goes through your wardrobe and she will, go and find clothes and things that suit you. But I love talking to Claire because she's so down to earth. And we often have just like a stupid giggle like we were just having before I pressed record. But this inside job that we're talking about here is the fact, of course, that we are at home. Our world has got smaller and smaller and smaller. And we're kind of going, it's not a holiday anymore. We've got the kids at home, we've got the partner at home, they're missing out on their school and we're having to be teacher as well as mother, as well as everything else that goes on in the house. So, these little interviews are just to show you how other people are coping, what kind of things we've, or not, what kind of things we've put into our life, how we are rediscovering what's really valuable to us, and how we can emerge. I don't know, could be another 2 months. Let's just not think it's going to be next week. How can we emerge a better version of ourselves having had this time? We've not got bombs dropping on us. It is just that we are having to change things in a different way. And don't forget, humans are very adaptable. Kids are extremely adaptable, and I was saying to my kids the other day, I never played with my parents, except when we were on holiday. But we've, done games. We're having different kind of conversations at dinner time. I take, the afternoon off and I think, okay, I'll play ping pong or we'll do all a big project in the garden or something like that. We're lucky enough to have a garden. But this is all about, if you could fantasize about something, who would you be when you came out of this particular lockdown, whatever we want to call it, stay at home, stay safe, whatever. I mean, I know there are so many people out there still working as normal, putting their lives at risk, taking care of other people. But there's thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people at home trying to find their way through work, trying to find something completely out of the box to bring their goods and their services instead of face-to-face, like I used to do, or face-to-face retreats and things like that. And Claire obviously works with people face-to-face as well. We're now having to think, well, I can do that online. I can see what they've got. I can see them. I can see how they work. So, Claire, thank you very much for joining me today. An absolute pleasure always to have such a down-to-earth giggle with you. So thank you.
My pleasure. I probably always end up saying the wrong thing, so do excuse me.
No, well, that's just perfect. We love it when people say the wrong things because that's just real life. We're not news presenters, we're not reading and sort of keeping a straight face. We were talking earlier on, Claire and I always make faces. We are very legible, we're very readable. What's going on. If somebody says something to me, like, oh, really? So yes, we have very,
I could get myself into trouble that way.
We're very expressive faces, but that helps us with our business as well, because we are able to kind of help read you. We read expressions, we read your body language, we understand what suits you. And if this is your character, why on earth are you wearing that? If this is your character, if you like variety, why are you having the same food every single day? Why are you sticking to a diet if you absolutely love freedom and adventure? This is all about who we are and what we do. Claire, what's the biggest change that you've seen in yourself and maybe with your boy as well over the last, 3 weeks for you now?
3 weeks for us, yeah. I think the biggest change I've seen or appreciated, I suppose, actually, is how much I've loved being with my son. Yeah. And I always have. He's an only child, and with all the lead up to it, it was, you think to yourself, oh no, what am I going to do with him? How am I going to educate him? How am I going to do this, that and the other? And you start doubting yourself. And on that first day, or the first Monday, out came, his books that we were supposed to have, all this online instruction of, and I literally on the first day plonked him down, said, here are your tasks, basically get on with it. And then it dawned on me that an 11-year-old, I'm not even the best self-starter, do you know what I mean? At the ripe old age of nearly 52. So I can hardly expect him to, when he thrives off of his classmates, and he loves his teacher, and he goes to this gorgeous tiny little school where it's just divine. And so then the next day I was like, no, I need to sit with you. And I started at first thinking, oh, but I should be up in my office now. I should be working. I should be doing this. I should be posting online. I need to be doing this, that, and the other. So that was going. And then, but slowly, it's changed in the extent that I'm more freely just being with him. The schooling aspect, I wouldn't say went out the window, but, you know, he's a bright 11-year-old boy. He's about to go up to high school. I don't think there's going to be much that he's going to learn academically in this short space of time. And I think we've been going on we're very lucky. We live in this beautiful village in North Norfolk, very rural, and we've been going on the most beautiful country walks. I even got my bicycle out for Polly the push bike. She came out of the shed from about 5 years ago. Went on a cycle ride with him, and just he's amazed me, you know, he how he's coped. And because he's such, you know, he's a very active boy that plays team sports. He's an only child, so other than myself and my partner, he's, you know, he's spending time on his Xbox, but thankfully, you know, social media is keeping him going. And in all this time, I literally one down, well, not even a day, you know. So what's changed for me, or grown for me, is my admiration for my son and for children in general. And
I think they'll be completely different after this experience. Not only will they appreciate things far better, but, you know, they'll be probably more proud and self-starting and you know.
Do you? I think you'll forget. No, do you know? I think you'll forget.
No, I think so. I mean,
no, he'll go back.
One of the boys anyway, so like they're very, you know, chalk and cheese, but, you know, one of them is very kind of like on it and all the rest of it. He really understands what life's all about, what he wants to do. I think maybe the difference is he knows really what it is that he wants to do, so he's kind of like, he's on it. The other one's a bit more of a dreamer. But I think, you know, I mean, we have huge laughs, and, you know, the conversations are much deeper, and we go on these walks in the evening. We went running last night, or they take their bikes, and I've got my partner's 2 boys as well. So, you know, there's a whole different dynamic when you're out walking with them now, and the conversations are deeper. And I often put in, as I do, these kind of like big questions, you know, like, so who profits from the coronavirus? And how does this work for you? And what do you think is going to happen when we go, you know, all those kind of things. You just get them thinking outside the box rather than just sticking with everything what everyone else is saying.
Oh, absolutely. And I've always tried to encourage that with mine as well. And I think because he's an only child, in some respects, things aren't actually that different for me in the fact that we do spend a lot of time together. He is like my little best friend. I love his insights. You know, I love his humour.
Well, they do say that they do teach us, our kids, don't they?
That is the understatement. I have learned so much about myself since being a mum, and I was, you know, he's only 11, so I didn't have him till I was nearly 40.
Yeah, well, the same with me. I was in my 40s.
Yeah, and
but I only look 35. Don't be, darling. We only look 35.
You look amazing.
Yeah, but you do too.
Oh, Nat. So, you know, he has taught me so much more, and I know this sounds a bit sort of hippie, happy, clappy, and a bit sort of like deep, but it's taught me about what's important.
Yeah, this is what I'm thinking. I'm getting more about this, you know, staying at home. Our world has become smaller. We're inside our houses, hence why I'm calling this the inside job, because, you know, as we come inside our houses, almost the decorating gets done, this get organised, the wardrobes get cleared out, which I'm going to talk to you about in a minute. Like, when you've done all the things on the outside, we haven't got that many distractions anymore to kind of think, wow, what do I want? What comes next? How can I how can I take care of me, or come out a different person, you know? So, you know, we've got all these distractions that we normally distract ourselves with, work and friends and, you know, nights out and entertainment and food and drink and everything. And then all of a sudden, oh, we don't have any of that anymore. So we are faced with ourselves, you know, we can't escape anymore. So once the carpet's been swept, the cushions have been plumped.
Doing housework, golly, good for you.
No, I've got 4 boys in the house. I mean, what's the point? I said, please sweep the floor and do upstairs as well. Anyway, then, you know, whatever. And housework, don't be ridiculous. that would be my mother. Anyway, so, you know, at some point, we know that as the world gets smaller, then when you kind of go, well, you know, maybe I need to start looking at what it is that I want. Maybe you need to start thinking about, you know, what matters most to me. Is that this is what I'm finding is the most beautiful journey, in that, you know, more and more people I'm speaking to are kind of going, do you know what, I don't want this to be the same. You know, when you go on a long holiday, or like me, I traveled around the world. The main thing was, I do not want to come home the same person. I don't want to go into the same job. I don't want to hang around the same village. I want different. So this is what I think is going to be coming through.
We don't want to go back to normal. We want new normal.
We want new normal.
Yeah.
We do not want to go back to normal, because normal is mundane. It's grey. It's getting up and going to work and earning money. Like, no, there's so much more to life. And if anything, this is what I think, you know, is a great gift with this. So, okay, what's your new normal then? Have you thought about that? I know you're only 3 weeks in, we're 4 weeks. I spoke to Alison yesterday, who was 8 weeks in. She's in Italy. Ooh, I know, with teenagers in the house as well. So have you thought about your new normal?
Yeah, I realised that I can still get all the work that I need to get done and want to get done. I can still get that done. So my new normal isn't spending one day writing a Facebook post. Or
they take so bloody long.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Sitting and thinking is I can get this done with that. But I feel, oddly, baby, I feel so much more relaxed.
I know.
Now, I don't know if that's because, like I say, my son's still at primary school, and I don't know if that's still that I very much work around the 9 till 3, and then at 3 I probably don't get much done before tea time, and then, you know, and then in the evening, by the time he's gone up to bed, because we've got our little cottage has hardly got any doors, so you can imagine an 11-year-old boy with wooden floorboards stomping around this cottage. I don't get that much done. And I used to be like, oh, when can I next work? When can I next work? Oh, I've got this to do. I've got that to do. And
that's all fallen away.
It's fallen away.
Yeah, I'm finding the same. I'm finding that I'm just more chilled. I'm thinking, you know what? I get more done when I'm in a good mood. So I might as well go outside and be in a good mood and play.
Yes.
And then when I come in and think, well, that's not important. That's not important. I tell you what I really love to do is that. And this is something that's changed for me as well. I'm really much calmer, more relaxed, and kind of just more on point.
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, I've actually spent, I've created an online, I work online anyway with a lot of my clients, because a lot of my clients aren't in Norfolk. So whether they're in the UK or at, you know, Australia, America, you know, I work with people a lot online. So much for me hasn't changed. You know, I was already at home, already up in my little office, or my recording boudoir, as I like to call it. But my mindset, I think, has changed about, you know, what's important is how we reevaluate the services that I offer, but it's how I think I've become more creative. You know, I'm working on my website. That's going to be that's in the process of being updated. I'm not doing the technical side. That would just be wrong. No, I can't do that side of things. I think it's a very positive time, and what I want to hang on to is that feeling of relaxation. I haven't had any, you know, women that say, oh, I've read all these books and I've done this and I've done that, I've meditated, I've done, how? I don't know where my time's going, but what I do know is that I spend more time cuddling my son, spend more time sitting next to him, chatting, and I know I can't do that when he's back at school, but I think that'll help me really find value in those 6 hours, and when he goes back to high school in September, longer.
Yeah.
I'll find real value in that time. That'll feel like a longer time.
Yeah.
And so I think I'll appreciate time more.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that I will take time out for me within the day.
Yes.
And you know, my partner and I have said, you know, if this is going to carry on, once the Easter holidays are over, we're going to try and put not a strict schedule together, but where we get perhaps an hour to ourselves in the day each.
Yeah.
So and read a book or whatever, just have that time to do whatever we want to do.
Yeah, you need that to build yourself up, don't you, to sort of reboost yourself, because if you just keep on going all the time, which is, you know, if you work at home, that's often what happens. When you're at home as well, you kind of, oh God, I should be doing that, I should be doing this, I should be doing that, oh my God, I've got so much. There's an awful lot of guilt and sort of busyness that goes on to do with running a business at home. And you don't think you can get on with your business until that's tidy and the kitchen's tidied up and the laundry's done and everything else is in order.
No, I don't think that.
Well, when I first started being at home, maybe it was all just distraction because I didn't actually
see the state of my house.
I didn't want to get down to work, so it could have been just another distraction. I am very easily
distracted. Clients in my own house.
All the, you know, the latest silvery objects. I'm like, oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. I could be doing that instead of maybe doing this, because I really didn't want to do what I was doing.
Yeah, yeah.
So have you found that you have sort of made more of a nest for yourself? You've cleared things out, you've thrown things away, you've refreshed, you know, your wardrobe or your kitchen drawers or anything like that?
Not the kitchen drawers, no. Interestingly, I'm doing a wardrobe detox program online, and I'm actually going through that as well. I mean, I do keep my wardrobe pretty much sorted with regards to the clothes in it and what I wear and what I don't. But I thought, no, I'm actually physically, instead of just teaching it, I'm actually going to go through it as well.
Isn't that always the way? You know, when you run a program, you up level yourself as well. You know, you take yourself through it.
Yeah, so there's 5 main steps in this group and in the program, and so yeah, I'm following each step as if I was following the program. I'm trying to put myself, rather than just teach it, I'm trying to actually do it in exactly the same way. I didn't know it. We
have to be in that place as well, because every single time you read a book or you do something, you come at it from a new angle, don't you?
Absolutely, yeah, totally. And also, it sometimes when you're delivering stuff online, you know what you're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah. And so by following it yourself as if you are a client or you know, a participant, you can actually, does that bit make sense? You know, it helps you tweak it and reevaluate
and make it very clear.
Yeah.
I remember an old conversation that we had a little while ago, and you told me something that you do with clothes that you are very fond of but that you don't want to throw away. Do you remember what that was?
Yes, I make them into things. So exactly like you said, you know, so many people, even on this program that I'm doing now, are like, well, I really love this. It reminds me of X, Y, Z. So there's various things that you can do. For me, I had this massive dressing gown that I wore when I was pregnant with my son, and I was massive. It's a great big size. I was 24 dressing gown, and I didn't want to wear it anymore, but I couldn't part with it. So I cut a patch of it out that had been over my heart, and then I've got other bits and bobs as well. Now, at the moment, I'm still sitting in his baby box, but I want to make something out of it. But that's evolved now with the advice that I give other people. Is you know, somebody I know from chatting, we came up with other ideas. She's very artistic, so she's made a beautiful textile picture out of something.
Ah, nice.
Someone says they wouldn't even get around to doing that, so I said, just take a photo of that item and put it in a photo album, because looking at it you don't need those pieces of thread. You might want the smell.
Yeah.
If something's got a lovely smell, then that's when I would say, you know,
it depends, you know, because an awful lot of people, you'll agree with this, are very sort of like very tactile.
Absolutely.
So they often kind of, you find that they're stroking themselves.
There's some comfort in
or smelling things.
Yeah, so one of the ladies on the course, she's got a big jumper from her dad, and you know she can't part with that. But she's going to make it into a gorgeous cushion cover.
Yeah, that's nice.
So she can cuddle it, she can smell it, she can feel it, and it's going to evoke the same emotions.
Yeah.
You know, and so because how I look at it is like your wardrobe is a toolbox, right? It's not the place to keep the knitting project that you started 15 years ago. It's not the place to keep your Christmas wrapping paper, you know, and all of these. It is a toolbox to hold the tools, your clothes, to see you through your life. And so it's only the clothes that you're physically wearing and enjoy wearing at this moment in time that should be in your wardrobe.
I've got boxes at the moment that I was going to be putting on Vinted or something like that, but I just didn't have the time to do it. You know, I still don't. I've got boots and I've got all sorts of stuff, and they are taking up an awful lot of room in my wardrobe. But I so agree with you that, you know, just by looking at something, a photograph of something, or you can transport yourself to another place. One of the things that I've been doing is coming up with like an online retreat, because I do detox retreats. So people want a holiday experience. I'm thinking, wow, how do they get that holiday experience, but they're still in their own home? Yeah. And it's not so much the holiday experience, because that's just a feeling, and you can create that feeling again and again and again and again. When you add enough detail into it, you can bring the smell back from your memory. You can bring the texture back from your memory. You can bring the sight, the sounds, and the feeling. What feeling did it give you? And where did you locate that in your body? Oh, I'm there. I'm there. I don't need to be sailing on that yacht. I can feel it moving across the water. You know, one of the things that I love is I'm not very good at it, but horse riding. If I go really wild, I really need that kind of thrill, that adventure. And because I can't necessarily do that right now, I'll take myself off on a little visualization or write about it, or woohoo, you know, and get into it. And I think, whoa, I've had that feeling. So any sportsman, any coach who's going to win a tennis match or a boxing match or whatever, they have been through the visualization of that particular winning, getting the winning game, scoring the winning point, standing on the podium, getting the gold medal over 100 times. So the more times you do it, the more times you kind of create the image of the retreat as it would be, and create yourself a place in your house, like a holy temple, a sanctuary, wherever it is. It has to be your bathroom, as that's the only place. But tell people between this hour and this hour, you are not available. You know, because, you know, we all get the knocks on the door and can you just look at this? And like, no, not here. I'm actually in Thailand, so go away. So I'm creating this online workshop and retreat from those kind of things. So all the techniques of how you can bring that experience back in so that you have the feeling of it. So when you walk away from your week being in Thailand or your hour being in Thailand, it sets off certain chemicals in your body. I don't know whether you ever talk about this with your clients as well.
I do, actually. I ask them to visualize how they're going to look and how
it brings chemicals into your body. And if you're always in negativity, you get addicted to those negative chemicals. But imagine if you could like have the serotonin and the dopamine and the oxytocin that you get when you're on holiday, and the complete relaxation. If you can experience that feeling just by transporting yourself by a visualization and doing some particular techniques, you have brought those chemicals into your body. So you're going to have the same result. You're going to have the same experience. So the way that I work with women to do with their bodies and their weight as well is often to do with that. So like I've had ladies who've changed their dress size remarkably quickly because of visualizations. Wow. It's not only to do with what you eat. It's like 10 or 20% about what you eat. But your visualization is enough to tell your body what it is, what you're feeling. That's enough.
It is really powerful, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's what I say to clients if they haven't experienced doing that sort of thing before. I just say to them, think back to a really important song of your youth.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I mean, I can do it, you know, really, really easily it doesn't just take you back to the nightclub you were in, or you've got picturing all the people around you,
what you're wearing,
what you were wearing, even down to the smell of the perfume I was wearing. You know, you can, and sort of how you did your makeup, and that sort of, and it can bring a bit of nostalgia, you know, as well.
Also,
and
people that you were with, you can feel the energy of the people that you were with.
Yeah, and part of you can be, you know, then start going, oh, I wish I hadn't thought of that. I'm longing for those days again. But you can actually feel it. You can picture yourself actually dancing, and you can feel the movement, and you can, I don't know, I guess it is such a lovely feeling, and it's somewhere I take myself, depending on what sort of mood I want to be in. But there's also another place I take myself to, and it's I can't remember the name of it. It's off of the highest peak in Scotland. It's off the highest navigable road in Applecross, I think it's called. I remember going there, and it wasn't a particularly warm day, but it was summer. And I remember just sitting there, and the water was just lapping. You know, and I love water, so I love the sound of noisy waves, you know. But it was the most, and it was literally just going over this stone, and that's somewhere I can take myself to, really. But I can smell, and in fact, I still remember there was a pub behind us, and they were doing a barbecue. So that's true. It's amazing, like you say, your visualization skills.
Yeah, imagination is probably your most valuable tool. And it's everything to do with about how I get to transform people and get them to meet their soul and get them to move into a different kind of reality. You know, it's a virtual, but it becomes a reality. So it is the most valuable and precious tool that you've got. But, you know, imagination isn't taken on as very serious when you get into the education side of things. Your imagination is not valued. You know, your maths, but maybe writing a story, but, you know, exercises and maths and, you know, science and history doesn't need your imagination. It's all memory. It's all thinking logical. So your imagination.
That's what I was saying to my son. You know, I was thinking about, you know, from his education, I've never taken my son out of school for a holiday, but I don't agree with the fining, you know, as long as it's done responsibly and not, you know, you don't take the mickey. And I know I'm not saying anything new here, but what a child can learn from a 2-week holiday is, I think, and what they'll remember from it can be far more valuable than sitting and doing some maths exercises. No, I'm not saying
that's what we're doing now. So, like, you're probably doing the same thing. I mean, you know, I don't say to the boys, like, all day you've got to do your homework. It's like, we're saying, what can you think about that you'd like to build? We've got pallets in the back garden, a great big tall stack of them. And we've made, you know, things for the vegetable gardens, or I've asked for a table or a raised bed for my dog so that air can flow around. And, you know, think, oh yeah, well, we could make something to put the fishing rods in. Great. Okay. So design it. I designed a swing for the chickens. So, you know, those kind of things are creative. They are using your imagination. So that is the biggest tool, I think, you know, if you've got the time and the skill to kind of bring that out of people, because that's not something that's taught.
Yeah, no, it's true, actually. And my son is, you know, he's a capable boy. He's quite academic, as in he's quite clever. He's not naturally a creative. For example, with Lego, I said to him, I'm going to just get you a box of all sorts of Lego. He goes, no, I only want the ones where I follow instructions to build it. So he wouldn't look at something and go, right, I'm just starting from scratch there. But
how weird, coming from you.
I'm not. Do you know, though, it's really funny because I never considered myself to be creative at all. I cannot even draw breath, let alone a straight line. You know, I'm not artistic, and I didn't realise because from a young age I hung around with sort of like the alternative gang and whatever, and did that for quite a long time. So many of them were very creative, and I really envied the girls that could do all the really gorgeous swirls of all their eyeliner. And I mean, I had to go. I was all right at it, but not to some. I mean, some of the girls that were in our crowd were just their makeup was amazing. I'm going back into like the 80s and early 90s, and I never considered myself, because I suppose from that crowd who was so creative.
Okay, yeah.
I never considered that other people might look at me away from that crowd as being creative. I was rubbish at art at school. It was one of those subjects at school where unless you're already good at it, the teacher didn't want to know.
Okay.
You weren't taught anything.
Yeah.
So I never considered that. And it wasn't until I was in my mid-30s when I became a stylist, by accident, really, because I'd been to a consultation and it changed me. It was almost like being given permission to be me. So I was like, oh, I want to help someone else feel like that. And then I was like, oh, but I don't know about fashion. I don't even know what fashion really was. You know, I just thought it was a coincidence that all the shops sold the same clothes. Because I've never followed fashion. I'm not I mean, I like to look current.
But that's what's beautiful about you, is that you look for the vintage and you look for the different things and you have your own style.
Thank you. That's nice to hear.
Well, no, because it is. Because, I mean, I don't like buying things from shops that I'm thinking I'm going to see a hundred of other people in. You know, when I go back to the UK, the one thing that I absolutely love doing is going to the old Oxfam and second-hand shops.
I know.
And I'll find a leather jacket and I'll adapt it, and I'll find a dress and kind of go, well, the skirt's okay, I'll change the top, or I love the material, I'll do something with that, you know. But I go in with something in my mind. Here's your visualization again. I go in with something in my mind, say, kind of really into velvet right now. So I'm just looking for something in velvet. That if it had like this neck, but I've got really good friends who are very good seamstresses.
Oh wow, lucky you.
I know. So I've just said, look, take that, but I don't want this and I don't want that, and they'll alter it. So that's something in my big dream, and that's what I create. I want friends who are very creative like that, because I can't do it. I can't do it. I mean, I used to sew my button on with the wrong coloured thread. I probably just did that just to be a rebel and to just annoy my mum. Why would you use pink thread? Oh yeah.
No, I get what you mean, and it is making things your own. And it's really funny because when you first started business, I was very much like, oh, I want to appeal to anybody who wants to book my services out there, you know, please come on, you know. And I was trying to appeal to too many different audiences. And don't get me wrong, you know, if anyone contacts me, I'm delighted to help them. But now when I'm doing my focusing on my business of who I want to work with, it is going to be people like yourself, people like me. The same as with you. You want to work with like-minded people who you
want somebody who's got the rebel inside. And I love to work with people who've forgotten the rebel inside. Yes. They are very grey, black and white, very straight. And, you know, when I say to them, what do you do for fun? They kind of go, holy shit, this is really embarrassing, Fiona. I can't remember the last time I had fun. I'm like, fantastic, you're exactly the right person. Because I know. So funny. Yeah, and
it's so funny you say that, because my tagline is helping you to discover or rediscover your inner quirk.
Yeah. And I want to get the naughty girl. I want to get the scallywag. I want to get the person who kind of refused to wear those school shoes.
Yes.
Who took a razor blade to them because they were so ugly.
And then life got in the way and they stopped being that person or forgot that they were that person.
That is my person too. And that's why I absolutely love you. And you went, really? You want to interview me? What do I want to talk about? I said, anything and everything, because whatever needs to come out will come out. Because those are the kind of people I love finding. And because I can feel what's going on in my body, I can feel what they're feeling. And it's almost like their soul is saying, wake me up, wake me up, come and get me. You know, because they're all straight-laced and very sensible and maybe earning lots of money and maybe sort of having a good job, but they're just like, they've lost their rebel. They've lost their centrinians. They've lost their centrinians.
Well, they've lost their you, haven't they? They've lost their, you know, when people say, who am I?
Yeah.
They've lost who they are.
Well, along the way, where are you? Where are you in amongst all of that? You're a fantastic mum, a partner, whatever you do for business. You know, you get to things on time. You're really, 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 really good. But where are you?
Yeah, and I say to the ladies that I work with, it's like, you know, before you even speak to somebody, our appearance, as we, you know, this bit isn't new, but our appearance is what attracts people to us.
Or not.
Or not. Exactly, or not. And so what do you, yes, when you get the chance to speak to them, you can tell them how fantastic you are, you can tell them how funny you are, and all of that will come out naturally. But your clothes are almost like a silent invitation, aren't they, in your appearance?
You may be like me, you look at people's shoes.
Well, I just take it all in. And
I used to look at people's shoes because that's the last thing that you can control is your feet and your hands. So often, you know, they'll have really wacky shoes that speak their personality, but the rest of them is black uniform.
Yeah.
But you cannot control the shoes.
I think also you can just tell when somebody is fighting to get out of that black suit or whatever, and you know, or they'll do something creative. That's when people are still sort of showing some sign. But there's some people that would just and then they reach a certain age.
Yeah.
And then they suddenly think, well, I can't go back to who I was. It was like, now I wouldn't want to go back to being a goth, but, you know, not a full, you know, but I wouldn't be offended if someone would said to me, oh yeah, I can see that you were.
But you bring some of that along with you, don't you? So like if I was to say I have several different alter egos, one of them would be like a hippie chick, one of them is like floaty dress, but another one...
No. So she in the crochet jumper.
Oh, did you make that? I did that especially for you today.
Did you make it?
Yeah. Took me years. No, I didn't make it. Don't be silly.
Oh.
I would have made it a bit bigger. A bit longer.
You can always add a bit on.
Yeah. But I mean, then there's another part of me who really likes the kind of like the styled straight dress. But there's always some accessory. There's always something that's just not shop front.
Yeah, and it's always something a bit different as well.
Yeah.
You know, but there's no wrongs for people that do want to dress that way. That is who they are. Mm-hmm. So it'd be wrong for them to suddenly start dressing like you or I. So it's not, that wouldn't make them feel comfortable.
I used to wear these really, really bright coloured jackets to work, but basically kind of simple things underneath. So that was my thing, these really bright jackets, because they were basically, I was really shy, but that was a way that I walked in and people went, ooh, you know, or I walked in very, very positively because I didn't want people to know how shy I was. So that was my thing. And I remember going to exhibitions and things, and apparently there'd been an email at that time, kind of, about, you know, we were working on an exhibition stand at the NEC and you had to wear a dark coloured jacket. It had to be black or it had to be blue. And I walk in there with this like acid green jacket and everyone went, no, Fiona, you can't do that. I went, who says? Yeah. I feel comfortable. I'm going to work better if I'm feeling comfortable in my own skin, in my own clothes.
Totally. And then the real you comes out, doesn't it? Otherwise you feel that you're being completely suffocated. And that's what same as you, we do the same thing, we get the same results, just in different ways.
Yeah, you're bringing the personality and the character out of who the person really, really, really is.
Because then that makes them feel fantastic, so therefore they act fantastic, and then
they look fantastic.
And then they look, well, yeah, so when you look good, you feel good. When you feel good, you look good. It's how you carry yourself and interact with others, isn't it? You know.
You hear that? It's drilling that's going on downstairs.
Oh, I thought that was my alarm to tell me my time was up.
No, yeah, time up, go. No, I'm not. I really am not a time rebel, time doctor. So thank you so much for today. If you would say you had one big tip that people could do, I don't know, with their wardrobe or something like that, or just with themselves, okay. You know, what's the strongest question you've got, or what's the strongest thing that you do?
Well, I would say there's 5 steps, so I won't go through them all now with the actual wardrobe detox. And one of them sounds really, really, really obvious, but I'm going to give you the first one, all right? Go through your wardrobe and take out anything that doesn't fit you. Now, is it too big? We're not 9 years old anymore. We don't want to grow into something that a 13-year-old might wear, right? So it's unlikely we want to grow into anything that's too big for us. So that needs to go.
Okay, all right.
And if it's too small, if it's half a size too small and you know you're going to get into it, but if it's other than that, don't let it taunt you. Get rid of it.
Yeah, if you can't get into it, speak to me, because I've helped ladies lose life by stone. Yeah. Visualization as well as, you know, what's to do. You know. Thank you so much for today. It's been absolutely
Welcome.
a charm, and we are being drilled out now. So if you're enjoying this conversation, I've got like 10 or so of these kind of conversations going, and I will ask Claire back again in the next few months so that we can just take this a little step further.
Yes, we'll have our own TV show, won't we?
Yes, darling. And
Stay gorgeous. Thank you, Fiona.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye, darling.
Stay safe and well, and stay gorgeous.
And stay gorgeous.